Good morning, dear students. Good morning, dear participants of the conference. Thank you so much for inviting me for this conference. I'm so happy to share with you about project-based learning today. So the committee asked me to record my presentation, and I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel also. So let me share my screen first. So today's topic is about empowering diverse learners through inclusive scaffolded project-based learning. And my name is Rima Satlikova, and I am an adjunct associate professor at Webster University in MIT Solve program. So today we are going to talk about inclusivity and project-based learning. Just the introduction to inclusivity and project-based learning because we have limited time. And we talk about scaffolding, digital tools, and then at the end we have conclusion. So what is inclusivity in education? Inclusivity is about differentiated instruction, language inclusivity, and it can be about inclusive assessment. So differentiated instruction. Um, we may have diverse learners in our classroom. They may have different learning styles. They may have different interests, hobbies. We have learners with different language proficiency level, or we may have students with different genders, age, necessities, wants, lacks, and so on. So we should differentiate our instruction based on the differences. So we may provide videos, group work, hands-on activities to meet diverse learning styles. If we have the same instruction, if we don't differentiate our instruction, then it won't be effective lesson, or it won't be engaging for our learners anymore, because we are not applying differentiated instruction, but we have diverse learners in our classroom. So what is language inclusivity? Language inclusivity is about visuals and gestures to support understanding for students. Because we may have different students. Some students understand when we have lecturing class, but other students maybe understand better if we have visuals, videos, or gestures. So to make our lesson more comprehensible, we should know our students' learning styles, and we should adjust our instruction based on their learning styles by providing gestures, maybe lectures, visuals, videos, pictures, and so on. So inclusive assessment, what does it mean? So inclusive assessment, when we have different students, that means they have different interests, personalities, characteristics. So when we provide them different assignments based on their personality, characteristics, and interests, then we can build inclusivity in our classroom. For example, some of our students are very shy, so they don't feel comfortable in front of their friends sometimes. So at the beginning of the course, we can provide them different assignments, but on the same topic. So we can ask them to choose, what do you want? Do you want to present, or do you want to write about this topic? Or do you want to listen and discuss with your friends about what you learned, and so on. So that way, we may have inclusive assessment. So we are not applying the same instruction. We are not providing the same assessment. We are not providing the same language in our inclusive education nowadays. So that way we can build more effective lesson in our classroom. So, what is project-based learning? Project-based learning is a model that organizes learning around projects. So, we can provide several projects or different projects that they can choose based on their interests, based on their learning styles, age, level, maybe. And projects are complex tasks based on challenging questions. And it can involve problem solving and decision making activities. So that means the questions should be challenging in project based learning in order to make our students to research about it, to discuss with each other, and to present about the topic. And it gives students the opportunity to work together to create realistic products and presentations. So project-based learning is very effective in the classroom, in my opinion, because I applied project-based learning for several times. Until now, I'm having project-based learning with my students, and I think they will be more engaging and active in your classroom when they have project-based learning. So in the past, we brought Lego into our classroom, and nowadays, they are using different gadgets. And nowadays, our responsibility is about searching what our students' interests and finding appropriate digital tools for our learners. For example, for young learners, we know that they are playing Minecraft game using their gadgets. And why not to bring Minecraft game into classroom? So in the past, we brought Lego so they can, maybe we may ask them to build a castle or a house. And then they will be able to discuss with each other in English. So they produce the language and then they present what they built, what colors they used, how long did it take for them, or they can describe what are there in front of their house or next to their house and so on. But nowadays, when we ask them to build their house or castle in Minecraft game digital tool, that will be more engaging for our learners. So that way we can build project-based learning, and also we can integrate digital tools in our classroom. So you can see here that in my case study, most participants support project-based learning in the classroom. And the question is, how do we start? So we start from learner needs. So we should identify learner needs first, what the learner needs are. And elicitation, activating background knowledge, peer interaction, group discussion, and we should have professionalism, and it's about scaffolding. So when we identify learner needs, we should know about their age, level, interest, hobbies, learning styles. What else? Um, Age, and lacks, necessities, wants, and so on. So we should identify them, and we can create a task or a topic based on learner needs. And then it's not trending anymore when we label the topic on the whiteboard directly, but when we have elicitation technique, then that will be more engaging for our learners and more effective. So we can ask some questions related to the project task, and we can elicit from our learners so they can activate their background knowledge, because they come to our classroom with knowledge, with background knowledge. We are not bringing any topic out of their knowledge. So they have background knowledge, and it's time for us to activate their background knowledge by asking some questions or bringing some real objects or bringing some pictures or videos into our classroom. So then we may have peer interaction and group discussion, so they can discuss what to do, how to do, when to do, but we should have professionalism here. So we should have scaffolding technique. Without scaffolding technique, they don't know how to start, what to start. So we cannot just provide them a topic and ask them, just make your project. We cannot do that. So we should have scaffolding techniques. Step by step, they should know how to do and what to do. So here you can see 4 different students. So when we ask from our students to choose one of the shapes or to imagine the shapes, you can see that they imagine different shapes. The first student is imagining the shape, the circle shape with blue color, and the last student here imagining the shape with yellow color. So that means they are totally different in our classroom. They have different learning styles because they have different language level proficiency. They have different types of hobbies, learning styles, age, level, um, wants, necessities, lacks, and so on. So here we can see that they are imagining different shapes with different colors. And when we ask them to choose one of them, they choose different shapes because they have different characteristics, personalities. So, project-based learning constructs 4 C's. They are collaboration, communication, critical thinking, creative thinking. So they are important in ELT classroom, as we know. In my case study, I had some questions, and when I asked the questions, the participants agreed, disagreed, but here you can see that most of them agreed that we should build creative thinking skills. We should build communication. We should build collaborative activities. They agree about them. Critical thinking skills, yes, they are important. But in my case study, most of the teachers found that, yes, they are important, but it's challenging. They are important, but it's challenging. So how we can solve those challenges? By scaffolding, because we should support our learners by scaffolding. Scaffolding, another term is support, as we know. Here you can see the construction for a house or building. So without construction, without well-organized construction, we cannot build a house. We know that. So it's the same with our learners. If we don't apply scaffolding techniques, we cannot empower our students to complete the tasks. So what is scaffolding? Scaffolding is support. Here you can see teacher responsibility and student responsibility. Teacher responsibility starts from modeling. So I do. As a teacher, I do. And then what we do after modeling, we model first what to do or how to do, and then we guide them. So we do together, we practice. And then they do. And as a teacher, I observe. I observe and they do. Here you can see that the responsibility is very narrow for observation because we are not doing anything. We are just observing and students are doing. And here you can see student responsibility. While we are modeling, they are observing. So here you can see it's very narrow. And while we are guiding them, they are practicing. Yes, together we are doing that. And while we are observing, they are applying. So huge responsibility at the end for students. So 3 main curricular elements to deal with in the classroom. In a different classroom, the teacher proactively plans and carries out varied approaches to content, process, and product in response to student differences in readiness, interest, and learning profile. So what is content about? It's about what students learn, including knowledge, skills, and information presented. Process, it's about how students make sense of and engage with the content through various activities and methods. Product, the ways in which students demonstrate their understanding and mastery of the content. So, readiness, interest, learning profile. Readiness is about the student's current level of knowledge, skill, and understanding relative to the content. Interest is about the topics or activities that capture a student's curiosity and motivation. Learning profile is about the student's preferred ways of learning because we should identify what kind of learning styles we may have in the classroom and we can differentiate the instruction. Differentiated instruction by readiness. So what we can do, understanding readiness, current level of knowledge and skill. So by diagnostic test or formative assessment, test or non-test. So we can differentiate instruction by readiness, by understanding readiness of their current level and knowledge. So we can conduct the diagnostic test, for example. Differentiated instruction by interests. So we may have survey, interview, brainstorming, observation. So it can be non-test. And the next is examples of interests, like topic interests, content areas, preferences for specifics or themes, such as art, sport, health, animal, politics, education, environment. So we should identify what the students' interests are, and we can bring those topics into our classroom. And activity interest, like is it about project-based interest or interpersonal or social interest, and so on. Technological, maybe game-based. By learning profile, so understanding students' preferred ways of learning, like multiple intelligences assessments, use tools based on Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence to understand students' strength in areas such as linguistic or kinesthetic, interpersonal, natural intelligences, and so on. So we should understand it. Classroom observation, observe students during various activities to note how they engage with different types of content and tasks. That's also important. Self-reflection survey, have students complete survey or reflective prompts about their learning preferences, strength, areas for improvement. That's also very beneficial. So writing and speaking skill-based lessons. So what we can do for creative writing. For several times I conducted this activity and students are so engaged in the classroom while we have this task. So for project-based learning, we may apply creative writing by creating a brochure. For example, for a thematic, you can ask that a brochure must be in color, at least 4 pages. So you can ask them to be in groups, and you can ask them to be to act as as a travel agency. So you can ask from one group to be, let's say, Thailand group, Uzbekistan group, Indonesia group, or Europe group, and they can create their brochure using Canva, for example, and they may have the checklist, like they're going to talk about facilities, culture, history, and price list. So they will create their brochure. And grammar, vocabulary, like descriptive or adjectives, and presentation. So they can present in 5 to 8 minutes. So they should build active participation, be creative, and public speaking skills. They should build, activate public speaking skills. So here you can see that one group created a brochure about Bali, another group about Rome and Japan here. So then they are going to promote to each other. So they are saying that, so this is my travel agency. I'm promoting Bali. Please come and go to Bali with this price, so you can explore these sightseeings in Bali and so on. So they promote what we do in language classroom. By this project, they are going to build creative thinking skills, critical thinking skills, because while they are discussing in groups, and communication, collaboration, and also they are producing language by promoting those countries by using these brochures. And listening and speaking skill based lessons, what we can do, there is a website, it's called podcastle.com. It's for free. You may have your account for free, but it has a limit. So 4 projects you can do, and after that you should delete one of them if you don't want to pay. So in this Podcastle website, you can ask from your students to record their voice, and you can ask them to share the link with each other. maybe they can interview each other, or they can go to some historical places and talk about that place. So they feel like a real journalist, and they feel like they have their own podcast. And then it has the share button, so they can share the link with each other, and they can comment to each other, and you can ask them to assess. For example, they may find some grammar mistakes or pronunciation mistakes, and they can provide comments, constructive feedback, and so on. So that way we may build a project-based learning. We may integrate digital tools, and also we can build collaboration, cooperation, critical thinking, creativity here. So, conclusion. Of course, we need ongoing professional development because we should update our knowledge. We should be aware of digital tools, or different kinds of projects, tasks, to engage our learners. And we should have effective scaffolding techniques. Without scaffolding techniques, it doesn't work. Balancing skill development and language proficiency. So not only linguistic proficiency, but also practical and actionable skills. And encouraging teachers to implement methodologies that prioritize using digital tools. So that was the conclusion for project-based learning, how we empower project-based learning by scaffolding, and also how we can support our diverse learners in our classroom, and how we can build more effective lesson to our learners by implementing project-based learning in our classroom. So you may contact with me if you need the references related to the topic that I talked today. So I'm always open for any collaboration and cooperation in education. Thank you so much for your attention. See you again.